Hey guys, welcome back. I'm going to show you guys how I've used these lights. I've actually shown them before, the Pixel Pros, but it's a new setup, very similar but with some new softboxes. I have Fern here with me. She's going to be modeling for me for these few videos, and I'll have a link down below to her portfolio. I'm using the 5D Mark III with several manual focus lenses. I'm not a big fan of autofocus when it comes to shooting stills, at least a lot of the time I'm not. I have a little viewfinder enlarger right here, which allows me to see a little bit closer into the image, as well as a focusing screen, which is that little piece that you see right in there, which hopefully you guys can see. And I'll have a separate video about that. Basically, it's not an actual screen like a monitor, but it's just like a little flat little thing that is the thing that you're looking at when you're, the thing that you're focusing on and your eye is looking at. I'm just gonna shut up and shoot some photos. Now, I know a lot of you guys are gonna ask about what my settings are. Honestly, for this kind of shoot, it doesn't really matter. As an example, I'm gonna go to auto ISO. Really doesn't matter here, I've got plenty of light. And it's gonna choose, for example, right now, it's giving me 100 ISO. And then I'm gonna use a shutter speed that's not gonna push my ISO too low because the camera can't go below 100. So if I use, let's say, 1/50th shutter speed, the camera is not going to be able to have the ISO low enough and it's going to be overexposed. So I'm going to make sure that the camera has some wiggle room with the automatic ISO. I'm going to go into shutter priority mode. I can then use exposure compensation to tell the camera that I want it a little lighter or a little darker. And here I want it just a tad brighter than the camera thinks it should be because I have a lot of white in the background. All right, I'm set up with the Joby strap, which allows me to just put the camera down, work with my lighting and whatever else I want to do, and then go back to shooting. So yeah, really nice little strap, really nice and comfortable. I'll have a separate review in the links down below. So first of all, I'm going with a lighting setup that has the two Pixel Pros. You can use other lights, but you know, I love these ones. And I'm using some cheap softboxes. I got these from China. They were £20 each. And I really like the Pixel Pro softboxes. The Pixel Pro softboxes are much better in many ways, but I got these because they also allow me to travel with them because they fold up so much more compact than the Pixel Pros because they don't have the big metal mount at the back. Then they just connect with the stick, with the umbrella stick on the inside of the thing. They allow me to go right the way back to the wall because I don't have the big light sticking out the back of the softbox. And because they fold up so much more compact, then I can travel with them. Even with the Pixel Pros, which are quite big lights, that does make it easier for me to fit everything into one suitcase. And those are both 120 centimeters, which is a great size. I love bigger softboxes like this 150. I'd love a 170 at some point, or bigger, maybe 200 centimeters, but those are great. I love those 120s. So I've got two of them set up right here, and they're both sort of facing to the back of Fern's head. And that's giving us a sort of light that's mainly sort of on the edges. And on the front of her face, the only light that we have is just a little bit that's sort of bouncing around the rest of the room. And that is a look that I really like sometimes, except it is sometimes a little too sort of bold. And then to make it a little more sort of normal looking, I'll add a front light as well. But let's take a look at what that looks like. The way that I like to work is a lot of photographers will tell you to move after every shot.
Yes.
I prefer for you to just, I'll let you know what to do, and then when I want you to move, I'll let you know.
Cool.
So if you have your shoulders just sort of flat towards me, good. And then lean, that's good. And then lean a little bit forwards, good. And have your head sort of straight towards me, good. And then chin down a little, good. And then look downwards again, good. Can you step back just a tiny bit? Good, a little more. Good, a little more. Good. So what I've done now is I got her to step back a little bit, which means that she's getting more light onto her face. So it's less on the back and it is showing on the face a little more. Good. Now I'm shooting here at f1.4 on full frame, and that's not necessarily needed here because I'm not really getting any bokeh in the background. But what that does give me is it does allow me to have the back of her head more sort of blurry. For some people, focusing is easier when you have a smaller aperture because you have a greater depth of field. For me, having a larger aperture allows me to focus more easily because there's a bigger difference between in focus and out of focus, which is possibly a personal preference, but in my opinion, it could also work for other people. The process that I'm using to work with the model it's a personal preference of mine. I let her know that I would like her to stay in that position until I would like her to move, whereas a lot of photographers would tell the model to move after every different shot, and that's really depending on your style. Personally, because as you would have seen in my other videos, I'm very picky about the sort of position that I want the model, so for me it is quite important to get the exact photo that I want, which is why I'd like them to not move until I want them to sort of move into a sort of different sort of position. And then good, and then look down. Good, and then come towards me. Good, and then have your arms the same but like that. Okay, so I've added the big 150 centimeter softbox. I've turned that on, and that's gonna make the image a little less sort of dramatic looking. And smile. Good, a little more. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you found this helpful. I know this video was short, but I'm doing some different lighting setups, which I will have in separate videos because they are different subjects. Actually, I'm going to be using some flashes, some photography flashes. So have a look at the links down below for that. Hope you found this helpful. Fun. Thank you so much. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next videos. Click down below to see those.